At the World Economic Forum, Ukraine's president appeals for more sanctions, and Iran's president arrives in Oman with trade deals on the agenda. You're watching the Daily Brief with Forbes. I'm Ramia Farrage. President Zelensky used the Davos summit to appeal for maximum sanctions against Moscow today. Speaking by video link, Zelensky called for an oil embargo on Russia, punitive measures against all of its banks, and the shunning of its IT sector, adding that all foreign companies should leave the country. Zelensky said there shouldn't be any trade with Russia. The Ukraine war is dominating the discussions in Davos, the first WEF meeting in more than 2 years. Also at the World Economic Forum, Saudi officials said they're in talks with international companies to move some of their operations to the kingdom. They said the Saudi government will focus on initiatives to grow the non-oil economy in 2023, but it won't boost fiscal spending. Analysts say Saudi will be the fastest growing G20 economy this year after India, with oil climbing almost 50% since the end of 2021. The IMF forecasts Saudi GDP will surpass $1 trillion for the first time. Iran's President Ibrahim Raisi has arrived in Oman with trade deals on the agenda. Raisi said trade exchanges between the two countries will improve definitely, and he said both countries are determined to upgrade the level of political and economic ties. MOUs are expected to be signed during the visit in the fields of transport, energy, tourism, and health tourism. A delegation of 50 Iranian business people traveled to Oman last week. Abu Dhabi-based international holding company and its two subsidiaries, Alpha Dhabi Holding and Multiply Group, have invested $200 million in Barouge's IPO as cornerstone investors. Other investors include the family of billionaire Gautam Adani with $75 million, the Abu Dhabi Wealth Fund ADQ, the Abu Dhabi Pension Fund, and the Emirates Investment Authority. Barouge is a petrochemical joint venture between Abu Dhabi National Oil Company and Borealis. It's taking investor orders for its IPO on the ADX to raise $2 billion. Bin Dawood Holdings saw Q1 profit rise by 5.5% to $17.4 million, thanks to back-to-school shopping demand and the lifting of COVID-related curbs on pilgrims performing Umrah. The Saudi-based retailer says its revenue was up 4.5% at $313 million compared to the year-ago period. The company says it's finally beginning to see a marked improvement in trading after the removal of pandemic restrictions that have seen a return of pilgrims to the holy sites of Mecca and Medina. President Biden says he's considering lifting some Trump-era trade tariffs imposed on China. Tariffs on hundreds of billions of dollars of Chinese imports are due to expire in July, and Biden has faced growing calls to get rid of the punitive duties to help combat the highest U.S. inflation in more than 4 decades. Ending the tariffs could help cut surging U.S. inflation by making Chinese imports cheaper. Staying with China, JP Morgan has cut its full-year growth forecast from 4.3% to 3.7%, saying a deeper-than-expected contraction is now likely this quarter due to its COVID-19 lockdowns. The cut takes JP Morgan's estimate well below the 5.5% Beijing says it hopes to achieve this year, and below the 4% level that Goldman Sachs predicted last week. On the positive side, JP Morgan says the darkest period may be in the past, as it points to a drop in new COVID cases in China last week. BMW is exploring new investments in solar, geothermal, and hydrogen energy to lower its dependence on natural gas, warning an embargo on Russian gas would bring the industry to a standstill. The car maker, which relied on natural gas for 54% of its energy consumption in 2021, is examining where it can add solar panels to its plants. BMW says the automotive industry accounts for around 37% of German natural gas consumption. And Bombardier has launched a new long-range business jet as it looks to stay competitive in a market that serves the ultra-rich and has remained robust amid the COVID-19-driven boom in demand for private aircraft. The Montreal-based plane maker says the Global 8000 will become the world's fastest business jet with an ultra-long range of nearly 14,800 nautical kilometers and a top speed of 1,160 kilometers per hour. The plane will enter service in 2025 and will have a list price of $78 million. I'm Ramia Farrage. This is the Daily Brief. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.